Good morning, everyone. John Naylor from Deja Vu Travel Magazine, and a rather gloomy morning here in China, but I've been up close and personal with the Volkswagen ID Unix for the past sort of 5 days. I've done some highways, I've done some close quarters, I've been in some traffic, I've been squashed in some tight spaces and trying to park. It's been quite dramatic. But anyway, let's not worry about that. I'm going to jump behind the wheel now and show you a bit of the driving experience so you can learn a little bit about the way this vehicle works on the road. And then I'm going to do a bit of walk around, poke in some holes, have a look in the spaces and the rest of that. So this is a fairly lengthy video, but if you're considering buying one of these vehicles or even coming to China to hire one, look, actually, it's a revelation. I'm quite enjoying this vehicle. It's been great. And comparatively, driven the Zeekr X, wonderful car, loaded with tech. But actually, I take this one and I can't exactly tell you why. Anyway, come for a drive. All right, so we may as well start with the thing that's a bit disappointing and only relates to this particular car. And you see here, navigation not working because there's no internet connection. So the rental car company and their wisdom have said, no, you have to pay a bit more to have that working. And well, it's a bit late for me in this hire. The vehicle goes back tomorrow. I'm not going to bother with that. But you might notice the one thing that's obvious here that's kind of cool for us Laowai, us foreigners here driving rental cars in China is, did you see it? Yeah, the language is English. So relatively easy to find in terms of the menus here. And we're not going to go into too much depth because you'll find it really easily under the cogwheel system settings, language, and choose English, and away you go. The way this system works is a little bit different to the norm in terms of what you expect in the Chinese EV space. So this big group of 8 buttons brings up all the different things that are happening on your machine and on your car and the big screen here. And then we've also got some things here in terms of hot buttons, and you can configure these to do the clever things. And it shows you probably the next thing for us to talk about, and that's the level of high-tech driving that's possible in this vehicle. So right now I can drive on a relatively relaxing Saturday afternoon here with some traffic restrictions because of the games, but the vehicle is actually doing a really good job of steering itself, lane centering. If I let go of the wheel too long, I actually get, and maybe we'll give you a little bit of a demo of that, you'll actually get some lights start to come up on the actual underside of the windscreen here to tell you that you should probably start thinking about putting your hands on the wheel. Actually, just right at the moment, see some of the heads-up display happening? Oh, I've put my hands on the wheel, so but we're not necessarily getting that, but you can see the heads-up display. Really nice system too, is there's little tracking arrows will show you when the vehicle that it sees in front of you. And so to have heads-up display with this sort of AI or augmentation thing happening on the dashboard is really cool. Now, I assume that actually if your maps are working, you're going to get turn-by-turn navigation instructions popping up in front of you with arrows and the like. But it's kind of cool. Maybe you can see it there. It's actually drawing the lines. I've got to watch out for this vehicle coming in front of me. And I've actually had to brake, so that's okay. But as it comes back in, it says, I can see that vehicle in front of me. And that's actually popping up as a little green arrow as it centers and positions itself back from this car in front. So in terms of these controls, so unlike the likes of what you'd see in a Tesla, is more traditional types of controls to use this vehicle. And they're fairly rudimentary in a very Volkswagen sort of way. And I do have a Volkswagen back home. So at the moment, I've taken over control of the vehicle, just pumped the brakes a little bit. And I'm just going to hit the set button, and that's going to lock it in at the speed we're at the moment. A light tap gives you 1, a hard tap gives you 10, and you step up the speed that way. Same way with reduction. We've got our ability to change our actual distance from the vehicle in front by actually tapping this button repeatedly to get the distance behind the vehicle set as well. Over on this side, just while we're sort of covering off these sorts of things, we've got some stuff in terms of navigation. We're not getting navigation, so we're not getting a whole lot happening there. So we can move our instrument cluster. We can also change the position of our heads-up display with the controls over here as well. AC is pretty good. Actually, let's punch it, see if we can get the AC. Once again, I've used the top button here, and I'm using climate control, and we see that we have a lot of stuff happening here. Okay, yeah, it's telling me to take over steering. We got a little ping, and we got some red lights there popped up. Okay, this is cool. We've got we're in traffic now, so we've got some merging going on. I'm going to keep a bit of an eye on things. But you see here, this vehicle now goes into a creep mode and is quite happy to just do its own stop-go cycle here as these vehicles move around us. I'm going to keep a bit of an eye on what's happening here as well. Oh, and that's while we're here, let's look at the seat. So that button there is actually 3 levels of seat heating. And this one here, if we pop that, it's going to bring up, oh, look at that. A car at this price point and this small and cute and tidy actually has massaging in the seat. I don't see it here. Look, it has got a glass roof, as is the norm now for these sorts of vehicles. And somewhere in these controls, I've misplaced it for the moment, but you can actually have this blind above us move out of the way. Quick thing, we got that mode button and our hot buttons here, so we can switch it over to sport mode, which changes down the steering to make it a bit more tactile with the steering, and changes the suspension dynamics a little bit. I think we have some custom settings here. Let's quickly have a look at those. And you can see that in the custom settings, there's plenty of options here as well. So lots going on there that you can modify and set for yourself. Now, one thing about this vehicle at highway speeds, and I did plenty of time doing 120 and 100 plus speeds on the highway as it jetted around the Guangdong province in the past few days. What's notable is it does feel a little bit light when it's at speed. I probably prefer a bit more road feel, and that's not really there. But by contrast, it's actually a really tidy vehicle to drive at speed. It's really comfortable and very quiet, as is the expectations around these sorts of vehicles. This car is like probably 10-20% smaller than the sorts of vehicles I'm used to driving, your Tesla Model Ys or a Zeekr 001. But the wonderful thing about this is the toning circle, and this thing is outstanding. I've been in plenty of situations here and same identical locations where a Tesla won't go around, and I've got to do a 3 or 4 point turn. But in this little nimble thing, its ability to turn corners is really great, particularly in tight circumstances, and even more so in China when you come across parking situations where you got to squeeze in around a couple of vehicles, or you're underground and it's really hard to do. So that's my big takeaways. This thing's got so much. Look, if I had to buy a car today in China as a car that I was going to have for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I'd actually go for this vehicle. Our range is really good too. It's got a variable range of charging as well, but this vehicle is charging relatively well. I think I saw it picked out at 100 kilowatts. Look, refer to manual in terms of its capabilities there. Really good. It suggested it had a range of upwards of 550 kilometers when fully charged. Didn't really put that to the test. You'll find out information about that elsewhere, I'm sure. Enough about the driving experience. Let's take a little bit of a walk around, and as quickly as I can, I'll get around this vehicle and show you what's going on. But look, the styling, let's touch on that for a second. And look, this vehicle's a bit grubby, isn't it? But look, it's sort of what you'd expect from a Chinese electric vehicle. I think this is done in some sort of collaboration with someone, I'm not sure who, but let's focus on the features and the benefits and have a bit of a close look at it, and try and draw out some things for you that are going to help you make a decision about it. So first of all, it is a manual release here. I looked inside and just for the life of me couldn't find a button on the dashboard that's going to release it, but it looks like that's going to have a release inside the vehicle, but I just couldn't find it in the menus. And look, I've already been a little bit critical of the menus, I know, before in the driving experience. It could be a little bit more intuitive. But anyway, I forgot to close that back up, and there's no automated way. It doesn't shut by itself, so I was down the highway with that still flapping around the breeze, and the 2 covers. We should, of course, remind you that here in China, you're going to get both your connectors. Last vehicle I hired, interestingly, had a different spot for the AC charging to the DC, so that left me a little bit confused. Out the back here, a bit surprised there's no rear window windscreen wiper, and actually if you look closely you can see that I've actually given this a bit of a tidy up, because it has got a bit grubby here on the roads of China, as is normally the case. Now let's have a look here. The boot release is down the bottom here somewhere, and look, I hesitate to do that because my hand gets grubby every single time, so I'm not entirely happy about that experience. But of course there is a button. It is an electric open and close, and there is a button on the key fob for you to get in there, get that open. Now let's have a bit of a look here. What have we got here? A little bit, not much room under here. Okay, flat floor, apart from some emergency gear. And then to release and push our seats forward and create that space there. I'm not sure the lead ridge, you can go find that out from CarWow or something, eh? Anyway, that's quite functional. And I've been traveling with quite a lot of gear, including my pump hydrofoil gear, and that's laid out quite nicely in here. The girlfriend said, hey, can we sleep in there? I'm going, Looks a little bit tight, and the fact that of course that the rear seat back is actually proud and stands up above the base of the floor here is not a good thing. Oh, isn't it convenient these construction workers are getting going just now? Good on you, fellas. You make all the noise you want. Hopefully my DJI mic with the noise cancelling on is going to cancel out any of that racket you're making right now. Now for mine, the Zeekr X, which is the vehicle to compare this with, I have got a video about that one. You'll see it in my video history for the fact that it's got me with the Iron Man mask on so it sticks out. But that vehicle has, I think, a whole lot more leg room in the back here. Let's take a little bit look and see if we've got much happening back here. No screen here, a little bit of ventilation, that's good. No sign of a fridge or any of that sort of trickery like the Zeekr X had for a lot less money. And here we've got a couple of USB-C points. Everything's going USB-C in China here. That's good. We've got a little bit of headrest. Oh, we've got a nice little phone pockets here. That's sort of cute. We've got them both sides, plus a pocket down the bottom here. There we've got, oh, by the way, these door trims, I think this actually is probably backlighting on all these door trims all the way through. And that sort of seeded effect that they've got is on all the micro suede, the fake suede there. The interesting thing here, and this is becoming common, is a button to switch between rear and front windows. So you've only got the two window controls. Here as well, we see we have actually got some memory settings on the seats, which is kind of cute. And a button here for the back massage that you'd otherwise do from the computer screen. We've got some electric adjustments for seat back and rest. This vehicle has got an easy entry option as well, which is quite cute. So you can set it on or off depending on your needs and whether or not you've got children in the back that you might otherwise squash. So I had it turned on, so that's quite good. When you do get in this vehicle, normally that seat will push back to give you a bit more entry area. Let's have a little bit of a look here. Looks like we've got some sort of a driving light mode stuff going on here. A little bit of a closer in look at the stalk since we've got this opportunity as well. So push button for a wash of the windscreen and controls. The automatic windscreen wipers did actually work quite nicely. I was quite okay with that. And these controls on the steering wheel, as is normal, look, they're fairly tactile. I'm not over the moon about the way they act. I'd rather actual buttons that are separate from the plastic, but I can appreciate these are easy to clean and easy to manufacture as well. So what else have we got in here? We've got a couple of USB-Cs in here under the little flap thing. There is some wireless charging going on there. We have also got a cigarette lighter plug in the center console. Bit of space underneath. And the hazard. Now, the little quick story about that, which was fun, was that I was actually stopped after a toll booth here and had a little bit of a sleep at the place where the vehicles merged back into the high-speed lanes. And I'd only just sort of closed my eyes and got to sleep, and a policeman come along and told me it's probably not a good idea. Let's see if we can turn that screen on. Yeah, there we go. There was an option here. I was going to try it. No, it looks like it's saying, do you want to be you? Yeah, we do. I'm wondering here if we can quickly find, let's take a close look at this actually while we're here. Ambient light, so that's going to be our ability. Oh, let's turn it on. Okay, there we go. So we can change our lights here. I'm not sure entirely what that's doing. Anyway, some color grading here where we can obviously, oh, here we go. So this is lights under the floor, lights on the, probably around about here somewhere. And we've got some stuff with the door trims as well. And that ability to turn that on and off. Oh, adjust the brightness, because that's quite cute. Didn't expect to be showing you this stuff, but anyway, we're here now. Let's take a little bit of a look-see. I can also see a bit of strobing from the on the camera here. Don't be worrying about that. That's only the cameras doing that. Didn't really play with the multimedia. Didn't really play with the iPhone connection. There was no Android Auto here. We're suspecting Google's a bit on the nose here in China, so it's not sort of welcome. I did set up a user profile on this car and did that via the ID Unix or Volkswagen app as well. What's auxiliary climate control? Automatic defogger, no departure time. Okay, so it looks like you can preset a departure to have it warm up the car. Look, that's nice, isn't it? You can actually have this car pre-tune the environment for your needs, including seat warming by the looks of it. So that's kind of cute. Never tried the automated parking. But you can see here, okay, so I've just punched it, park assist. if I had more time, I'd do that. But no, I'm going to breakfast soon. Sorry, guys. I found this camera. I was not tuned into this camera, this whole effect here. This has actually got a bit of fisheye effect here on it. So this is actually a bit awkward, I found, to actually reverse, but you get used to it, I guess. Nice, you've got the look down view as well. That works quite well as well. Did set these custom buttons up. We include this sort of summertime set here. Don't allow, let's not worry about that. So it looks like you can do some sort of sleep mode here to give you comfort while you have a bit of a lay down and sleep. Maybe that would have helped me avoid the drama with those police yesterday. I don't know. Look, I'm not going to worry too much about this. You can go watch this stuff elsewhere. Air conditioned vents work well. They're traditional style, so you can actually adjust the angle of these. I was using a phone holder here with one of these hook type ones, so that was a bit awkward. And this is cute here. Just maybe as a little wrap up. This was stuck to the window on the vehicle here, or adjacent to where it was parked. I take it this is some sort of escort service. I don't read Chinese that well. I'm certainly not at that level, and so, but I can only guess that that's what that's about. Anyway, that's about enough wrap up here that we can do. How do these work? Let's do that. Oh yeah, lights, on off here. Okay, there we go.
The
Okay.
connection is being established.
To
To cancel the call, please press the button again.
I've done something. Oh, okay. Maybe that button is some sort of call back to the head office for some sort of mechanical help. So let's avoid doing that. Nicely, that was in English. I have got this vehicle still set to English, so I should associate or expect that if I had that in Chinese, that'd be some sort of message to say, hey, I'm making a phone call for you. Cute too is, and maybe just a little wrap up thing, which I found a little bit awkward, is if I lift my bum off the seat or undo the seat belt in certain situations, the vehicle would go back into park, which I found a little bit of a nuisance. Anyway, I hope that's been informative for you. This is a great little car. As I said, if I had to buy a car today that I was going to keep for 4 or 5 years in China, I'd go for this vehicle, because overall, the one thing that really stood out is it's chock-a-block full of features and it fits in tight spaces. So that's a really good thing here in China. We'll see you next time. Of course, if you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. I'll bring you more of this sort of style content as I cruise around video blogging, cars, hydrofoil, and general experiences in China. I look forward to keep you informed. We'll see you next time.